Greetings, everyone, and a very warm welcome to another edition of Marketing the Invisible. I'm Tom Poland, beaming out to you from the sunny Sunshine Coast in Australia, joined today by Charles Gaudet. Charles, g'day. Welcome from down under. Where are you hanging out?
Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Sounds like a lovely, laid-back sort of little nook there on the East Coast. Folks, Charles is pretty awesome dude in all sorts of manners, not least of which he trains in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and has won 2 gold medals, 3 times wrestling state champion. If you get into an altercation outside a restaurant, Charles is the guy you want right by your side, frequently in front of me, actually. He's also the CEO of Predictable Profits. International Business Times regard him as the go-to coach for 7- and 8-figure businesses who are wanting more predictable profits and more growth. Disrupt Magazine named him as one of the world's top 15 business coaches. So Charles, absolute pleasure and a privilege to have you on the show. Let's get going. Our title today is How to Generate Predictable Profits for Your Business in Just 7 minutes. Charles, our 7 minutes starts now, sir. Question number 1, who is your ideal client?
7- and 8-figure CEO founders.
Perfect. Question 2, what's the problem you solve?
We help business owners who are asking themselves one of 3 questions. How do I grow my company faster? Or some months are feast, some months are famine. How do we generate more predictability in our revenue? Or the third one is the company's too dependent on me. How can I scale this thing?
So faster growth, more predictable revenue, and scalability.
You got it.
Okay, so let's talk about the symptoms. Question 3, 6.5 minutes left. We are firing through them. What would you say would be the typical symptoms of, we'll talk about your ideal client. Before they meet you, they're in their business. What's going on in their business that gives them the heads up that they should really be reaching out and finding out more about what you do?
Most business owners are able to take their company to a certain level based on hard work, word of mouth, and referrals. They generally only have 1 or 2 areas that are generating them leads and sales, and that's where they tend to plateau a little bit, and they realize that they need additional, more scalable strategies in order to get to the next level. That's typically where we come in. The company is too dependent on them. Oftentimes, you also see the founder who's doing most of the sales. They're stuck working in the business instead of on the business. Those are pretty typical symptoms.
Gotcha. So there's a pretty heavy dependency on new revenue flows on that founder. Yeah. So what would you say? Question 4, 5.5 minutes left. These are pretty growth-oriented people. I mean, they're doing 7 or 8 figures already. So they're assertive, they're proactive. They're going to be trying stuff. What would you say are some of the common mistakes you see that they make before they find your solution?
Well, the most common mistake actually is tied in with one of the symptoms, which is there's an over-reliance of word of mouth and referrals. Instead of building a more robust strategy of creating at least 1 new profit center per quarter, so you have a whole bunch of different ways that are generating new leads and sales. And the way that I look at it, I just got back from an F1 race, and the way that the pistons work in an engine is they go up and they go down, and they go up and they go down. Rarely do you see all the pistons go up at the same time, or you would never see all the pistons go up at the same time and all the pistons go down. The same exact thing ends up happening in leads and sales. When one thing's working, another thing usually comes down, and vice versa. So you want to build robustness into the organization by having multiple different pillars.
And that's a terrific analogy, isn't it? That the pistons, one's going up, one's going down, and that I imagine that diversification builds not only more secure and predictable profitability, but gives the founder ability to sleep well at night. Their eggs aren't all in one basket, so to speak. Let's flip it. 4 minutes left. Question 5 is one valuable free action, like a top tip. Not going to solve the whole problem, but it might take folks a step in the right direction. What do you got?
Well, along the lines of everything that we talked about, scalability, when people look at the results that we've been able to bring other companies and they say, we just took a company from 1 million to 40 million, over 40 million within 5 years, and they want to know, how the heck do you do that? You must have some sort of like magic strategy and blah, blah. None of that is actually true, except for how fast we're able to grow the company. It just follows a 3-step process. It's called OSI. The first one is optimization. So you figure out where we're currently generating momentum in the business and how do we do more of what's working and less of what's not. Once you optimize those processes and you turn them into a fine-oiled machine, then you want to systematize it. That's the S part. Systematize that process so that now things can begin to happen less dependent on you, where you can have people or automation take over. And then the last part is innovation. And that's when you create something new. And then you repeat that cycle. Once you create that, then let's optimize it. Let's systematize it. And let's go back and let's innovate and do that again. And the optimization process alone is what took us from, a million to, I think it was 11.2 million or something like that within 3 years or so. So, there's a lot of really, wonderful benefits for building that scalability following OSI.
Right, and it sounds like that's not a destination, it's a continuous journey, and that just makes so much sense. You see so many businesses stagnate through lack of innovation. You see so many businesses never even get to scale through lack of systemization. Great model. Thank you for that. 2 minutes left, sir. We want a valuable free resource where a bunch of people are going to want to know more about your work. Where can they go to kind of, dip their toe in the water in the world of Charles Gaudet?
Well, I mean, we do have a business assessment, which I don't know, you may or may not be able to provide a link within the video resource here, but
yep.
Awesome. They can also go to predictableprofits.com, and there's going to be additional resources at predictableprofits.com.
Okay, so folks, have a look at, if you're listening to this on the audio versus if it's a video, there's a link below the video, but get.predictableprofits.com/business-assessment. Go there, do the assessment, and find out where your growth opportunities are. Charles, we've got 70 seconds left. What's the one question I should have asked you but didn't?
It would be about growth. Why do growing companies fail?
Why do growing companies fail, Charles?
Well, great question. Glad you asked. The thing is, a lot of people will ask a question, what do I need to grow my companies faster? And they think grow at all costs. What a lot of people don't realize is that according to a study performed by the Kauffman Foundation on the companies that made it on the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies list, is that within 5 to 8 years of first getting listed, 66% of those companies will be disadvantageously sold, go out of business, or shrink in size.
Wow.
And that happens because they're only focused about growth. They're not thinking about predictability. They're not thinking about sustainability. They're not thinking about robustness. You have to build that scalable process of sustainability, predictability, and robustness into an organization if you want to continue growing for years and years and years to come.
These are words of wisdom and the result of decades of experience, I imagine. Charles, it's been an absolute privilege to have you on your show. Thank you for sharing your insights and your experience and your wisdom.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor.
Thanks for checking out our Marketing the Invisible podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to generate 5 fresh leads in just 5 hours, then check out www.5hourchallenge.com.